Home Studio Start podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Home Studio Start. We're diving deep today into mixing workflow
Oh, fun.
with this awesome article by music producer Rodrigo Marquez. It's called Master the Basics, Step-by-Step Mixing Workflow Guide.
It's like a roadmap to transforming those raw tracks into a polished masterpiece. And the best part is it's packed with practical tips that anyone can use.
Okay, so the first thing Rodrigo talks about is prepping your session.
Right.
And he actually compares a messy session to searching for a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
I can totally relate to that.
Oh, for sure.
Have you ever gotten lost in a sea of unlabeled tracks?
Oh, totally. It's like trying to find a specific spice in a disorganized pantry. You know, it's in there somewhere, but it takes forever to find it. Rodrigo's really big on clear labeling.
Right.
And I think that makes a world of difference.
Yeah, instead of audio 1 or track 23, he suggests using names that actually make sense.
Right.
It's like, duh, why didn't I think of that lead vocal, snare drum, things like that? So obvious, but so helpful.
Right, and he takes it a step further with grouping similar tracks. Like, imagine all your background vocals tucked neatly into a BG Fox group. It just makes everything so much easier to manage.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
It's a lifesaver when you want to adjust the volume of all those harmonies at once.
Totally.
Without having to tweak each track individually.
Yeah.
He also talks about color coding.
Yes.
Which I think is brilliant. Assign colors to different instrument groups like drums, vocals, guitars.
Yeah.
And suddenly your session becomes so much easier to navigate visually.
So much easier.
I've never actually tried color coding,
You should.
but that sounds like a game changer.
It is.
My studio space tends to get cluttered, so maybe I should apply that same organization to my physical workspace too.
I think so.
Do you think there's a connection between a tidy workspace and a clear creative flow?
Absolutely. It's like decluttering your mind to make space for the music. And speaking of decluttering, Rodrigo also stresses the importance of session cleanup. Oh, yeah. Deleting unused tracks and getting rid of all those silent bits.
Yes.
It's like taking out the sonic trash, right?
Exactly. It streamlines your workflow and prevents those, where did I put that track moments.
Okay, so once our session is prepped and organized, it's time to start the actual mixing process.
Right.
Rodrigo compares mixing to painting a sonic picture, which I love. And he says the first brushstrokes are balancing and panning.
It's all about shaping the sound and creating that three-dimensional space where each instrument has its place.
So volume balancing seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You adjust the faders to make sure everything can be heard clearly. But I'm curious about this fader up technique he mentions.
Okay.
What's that all about?
It's a technique where you start with all your faders down and gradually bring them up one by one, listening carefully to how each instrument fits into the mix.
Okay.
It helps you build the sonic landscape from the ground up.
Interesting. So you're not just setting levels.
You're really listening to how those individual elements interact with each other as they emerge.
Exactly. And speaking of interaction, panning is all about positioning those instruments in the stereo field. Rodrigo talks about creating a focal point. Usually that's your lead vocal or instrument.
Right.
Those tend to stay in the center.
And then you pan the other instruments around them. Like if you have two rhythm guitars, you could pan one to the left and the other to the right to create a wider, more spacious sound.
Precisely. But it's not just about spreading things out. Panning can also be used creatively to highlight certain elements or create interesting effects.
Yeah, I've definitely experimented with panning before sometimes with hilarious results. Like that time I panned a cowbell so far to one side, it sounded like it was in another room.
Well, that's the fun part. Sometimes those unexpected placements can add a quirky charm to your mix.
For sure.
But if you're aiming for a more classic approach, Rodrigo suggests the LCR panning technique.
LCR, what's that?
It stands for left, center, right.
Okay.
You basically pan each track hard left, hard right, or keep it in the center. It's a simple but effective way to create clarity and separation in your mix.
That makes total sense, especially if you have a lot of instruments competing for space in the mix.
Exactly. And remember, both volume balancing and panning are ongoing processes. You'll likely need to tweak them throughout the mixing process as you add more elements and shape the overall sound.
Okay, so we've got our levels balanced and our instruments strategically placed in the stereo field. What's next in this mixing adventure?
Time to spice things up with EQ and compression. Rodrigo compares them to salt and pepper.
Oh.
And I think that's a perfect analogy.
So EQ is all about adjusting the color of a sound.
Yes.
By boosting or cutting certain frequencies, right?
That's it. Every sound is made up of a range of frequencies, and EQ allows you to shape those frequencies to bring out the best in each instrument.
I think I get the basic idea, but I've always been a bit intimidated by all those knobs and sliders on an EQ plugin.
Yeah.
It's easy to get lost in the technical details.
I hear you, but Rodrigo actually simplifies it by suggesting a subtractive approach. Instead of boosting everything he recommends, starting by identifying any problem frequencies
Okay.
and carefully cutting them.
Okay, that sounds less scary. So like if a vocal track sounds muddy, you could cut some of those low frequencies to clean it up?
Exactly. You're essentially removing the sonic mud that's clouding the clarity of the vocal. And while you can boost frequencies to add presence and shine, Rodrigo advises doing it sparingly, as too much boosting can make things sound unnatural.
Okay, so EQ is like a sonic sculptor, shaping the tone of each instrument. What about compression? I know it's important, but I'm not always sure how to use it effectively.
Compression is all about controlling the dynamic range of a track, which is the difference between the loudest and quietest parts. It smooths out those volume fluctuations and ensures that everything sits nicely in the mix.
I see. So if you have a vocal track where some words are super loud and others are barely audible, compression can help even things out.
Exactly. It's like a gentle hand that keeps everything in check, making sure no element is too overpowering or too faint.
That makes sense. But I've also heard that overcompressing can suck the life out of a track, making it sound lifeless and flat.
That's definitely a risk. The key is to use compression subtly, just enough to achieve the desired effect without squashing the dynamics too much. Rodrigo gives a good starting point with a moderate ratio of around 3:1, and then you can adjust the threshold to control when the compressor kicks in.
Hold on, a ratio of 3:1. What does that actually mean in a practical sense?
Good question. Think of it this way. For every 3 decibels of volume above the threshold, the output will only increase by 1 decibel. It's like a volume control that kicks in when things get too loud.
That's a much clearer explanation. I always get hung up on those technical terms.
Yeah.
And what about those attack and release settings I always see in compressors? Those always confuse me.
They control how quickly the compressor responds to the audio signal. A fast attack means the compressor kicks in quickly, while a slow attack lets the initial transients through the release, controls how long the compressor stays active after the signal drops below the threshold.
So those settings can really affect the character of the sound.
Absolutely. For example, a fast attack and slow release can tame a punchy kick drum and make it sound tight and controlled.
Wow, I'm starting to see how much control you have over the sound with just these two tools. It's like EQ and compression are the secret weapons of mixing.
They really are. When used effectively, they can take your mix from sounding raw and unpolished to professional and polished. It's like adding those finishing touches that bring everything together.
Okay, so we've balanced, panned, EQ'd, and compressed. What else can we do to make our mixes even more awesome? What's next on our mixing journey?
Well, this is where it gets really fun: effects and textures.
Ooh, yes.
It's like adding those special effects in a movie. They can completely transform the vibe and feel.
I love playing with effects. It's like adding those final touches to a painting that really make it pop. Rodrigo mentions reverb and delay as key players. What's the deal with those?
Think of reverb as that sense of space you hear, like if you're singing in a cathedral versus a tiny bathroom.
Right.
That's the magic of reverb at work.
Okay, so I could use reverb to make a vocal sound like it was recorded in a massive concert hall, even if I'm just in my little home studio.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
It creates this immersive sonic environment. Delay, on the other hand, is all about echoes. It can add rhythmic complexity, emphasize certain words or phrases, or even create these cool swirling textures.
Ooh, I can see how delay could get really creative.
Yeah.
Any tips for using these effects?
Yeah.
I tend to go a little overboard sometimes, especially with the reverb.
Yeah.
It's easy to get carried away.
Rodrigo's a big advocate for moderation.
Okay.
Start subtly, like adding a pinch of salt to a dish, and gradually increase the effect until you get the desired taste. I mean, sound, he also suggests using send effects instead of inserts.
Sends versus inserts. I'm not really familiar with that distinction. What's the advantage of using sends?
Sends let you apply the same effect to multiple tracks,
Okay.
which is great for consistency and efficiency. So, for instance, you could have one reverb send that you use for vocals, guitars, and drums, creating a cohesive sonic space.
That makes sense. It's like having one big reverb room that everyone can share instead of giving each instrument its own separate reverb.
Precisely. And Rodrigo also encourages experimenting with textures, which you can create using modulation effects like chorus or flanger. Those can add movement and depth to your sounds.
Ooh, yeah. Modulation effects are so cool. I love how they can make a sound come alive and breathe.
Think of a sync pad that gently sweeps from left to right, or a vocal that shimmers with this ethereal chorus effect.
It's like adding those little sonic details that keep listeners engaged and make the music feel more dynamic. I'm definitely going to explore those more.
The key takeaway here is to not be afraid to try unconventional approaches. For instance, Rodrigo talks about reversing a reverb tail to create this ethereal, otherworldly effect.
Wait, reversing a reverb tail? I've never even thought of that. How does that even work?
You basically flip the audio of the reverb so it plays backward. It creates this sense of sound swirling inwards instead of outwards, which can be really cool for transitions or creating a dreamy atmosphere.
That sounds amazing. It's like those backwards messages you sometimes hear in songs, except it's with reverb. I'm definitely going to try that out. Any other tips for using effects creatively?
Rodrigo suggests experimenting with layering different effects, like combining a short delay with a long reverb to create this cascading sound.
Ooh, layering effects. That opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
Right.
It's like combining different spices to create a unique flavor profile.
Exactly. Ultimately, it's all about finding what works best for your specific mix and letting your creativity run wild. Don't be afraid to break the rules and try things that sound interesting to you.
I love that advice. It's so liberating to think of mixing as this playground where you can experiment and discover new sounds. It's not just about following a set of rules. It's about expressing your artistic vision.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground with effects, but we still have a few more essential steps before our mix is truly ready to go.
Right. We need to talk about finalizing the mix, exporting it, and getting it ready for mastering.
Exactly. Mastering is the final polish that gives your music that professional sheen. But there are a few things you need to do before sending it off to the mastering engineer. Rodrigo highlights a crucial step: checking your mix on different sound systems.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I usually just listen through my studio monitors.
Uh-huh.
But I know it's important to hear how it sounds on other speakers, too.
Exactly, because you never know what your listeners will be using. Some people might be listening on high-end headphones, others on their laptop speakers, and some even on their phone. So it's important to make sure your mix translates well across all those different playback systems.
But how do you know if it needs adjusting? Like, what should you be listening for?
Listen for things like the balance of frequencies, the bass too boomy on smaller speakers, are the vocals clear and present on all systems.
Okay.
You might need to go back and make some adjustments based on what you hear.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like making sure your website looks good on both desktops and mobile phones.
Yeah.
You want it to be a good experience for everyone, no matter how they're accessing it.
Exactly. It's about making your music accessible and enjoyable for everyone who listens to it.
All right, so we've checked our mix on different systems.
Yeah.
And make any necessary tweaks. What's next?
Level setting. You want to make sure you're sending a healthy mix to mastering that isn't going to cause distortion. Remember, headroom.
Yes, headroom. So we're not talking about space for a mastering engineer's big brain, right?
Uh-huh. Right. We're talking about leaving enough space between the loudest part of your mix and 0 dB, which is the maximum level. Rodrigo says to aim for a peak level around -6 dB to -3 dB to give the mastering engineer enough room to work their magic.
So I just adjust my master fader until my mix sits comfortably within that range.
Exactly. That's all there is to it.
Easy peasy. Okay. Mix checked, level set. We're almost there. What's the final step?
Time to export and remember, quality matters. Rodrigo recommends choosing a high-quality format like WAV or AIFF for this.
Why those formats specifically? What's wrong with MP3?
Well, those formats preserve all the audio information from your mix, ensuring the best possible sound quality for the mastering engineer. MP3 is a compressed format, which means it loses some of the original audio data to make the file size smaller.
Yeah.
That's fine for listening casually, but not ideal for mastering.
Makes sense. We want to give the mastering engineer the highest quality audio possible so they can do their best work.
Exactly. And one final but very important point, don't forget to label your files clearly.
Oh, right. Like actually giving the files names that make sense.
Yes. Include the track name, version number, and date in the file name, mastering engineers. Love that it's like sending a thank you note in advance for their work.
I like that. And organization is key, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want the mastering engineer to have to hunt through a jumbled mess of files to find what they need.
Absolutely. A little organization goes a long way in this world. Put all your exported files in a dedicated folder, clearly labeled and ready to go. Your mastering engineer will thank you.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from prepping our sessions to finalizing the mix and getting it ready for mastering. It's amazing how much detail goes into each step. It really is. It's like we've uncovered the secrets of the mixing masters,
Right.
but in a way that's actually understandable for us mere mortals.
Rodrigo's article is like a masterclass condensed into a few pages.
Right.
He takes all these complex concepts and breaks them down into bite-sized pieces that anyone can digest.
And it's not just about the technical stuff either.
Right.
He emphasizes the artistic side of mixing, too.
Yes.
Like how to use these tools to express your unique vision and bring your musical ideas to life.
Absolutely. It's so easy to get caught up in the technical details and forget that mixing is ultimately about creating art. Yeah.
It's about using those knobs and sliders to sculpt the sound and evoke emotions.
Totally. So if you had to pick one key takeaway from this whole deep dive, what would it be?
That's a tough one. But I think the foundation of a great mix starts with organization and a clear workflow. By setting up your sessions properly and following a logical process, you're setting yourself up for success.
That makes so much sense. It's like having a clean and organized workspace.
Right.
Both physically and digitally, it just clears your mind and allows you to focus on the creative aspects of mixing.
Exactly. And once you have that solid foundation, you can start adding those creative layers, like those sonic spices and textures we talked about, to make your mix truly unique.
It's like building a house. You start with a strong foundation, and then you can get creative with the design and decor.
Perfect analogy. So to all our aspiring home studio heroes out there, remember to embrace the journey. Don't be afraid to experiment, make mistakes, and most importantly, have fun.
Couldn't agree more. Music production should be an enjoyable process. It's about exploring your creativity and making music that you love. Well said. Now go forth and create some amazing mixes.
And that's a wrap on this episode of Home Studio Start. We hope you found it helpful and inspiring. Until next time. Happy mixing.